and welcome back to my channel. My name is Uyenzi Koza Umamkatini Umaspez if you do not know me, and I'm here with yet another video. Today we're here back again with our sit down Sundays. I'm going to try for this video to be much shorter than it actually is, so that it's straight to the point and to the T. So please get into this video. Thank you for liking, subscribing and sharing. I'm so grateful and I love you all. I've created a family and a home between all of us. But from me, Umaspezi, let's get into the video.
Girl, I've been thinking about you. Let me talk to you. I don't know if it's a good time. Why not talk to you?
So I hope you guys like the setting. I just love sitting outside and basking in the sun, because we do need the sun even in lockdown. So if you are like at home right now, take your tea, take your juice, go sit outside, bask in the sun with me, and let's have a conversation. If you hear noises, I'm outside obviously, so you are gonna have a bit of noises here and there, but then please forgive me. I'm just trying for us to create some sort of an ambience. So yeah, let's get into it. So today we are going to be talking about something that is pretty simple. I wanted us to have conversation and talk about it, and just just give each other some wisdom and give each other some tips. So usually when we watch shows or you watch sermons, they usually tell us to avoid the problem, or tell us to put it aside, and tell us to maybe ignore the problem, it will subside, and just trust in God. But knowing how life turns out, it's very hard to ignore something that is really hard, to ignore something that is on your chest and on your back every single day. Today I'm here to tell you to go through it. I know it's a bit of a foreign concept to grasp, but I realized that going through it, telling it to God, and then putting it aside will make it better than just putting it aside and letting God deal with it. So in the past few weeks, I have been talking about talking to God, telling God what your problem is. And I'm not going to steer away from that concept today, but I am going to try and give you some further information on what you can do. So go through it. Let's say you have a problem that you can't really tell your pastor or your friend or your sister about, something that you are a bit embarrassed to talk about. I'd say just go through it. Some of the things you just have to talk to God about, go through it, and then put it aside and go through other things. So some of the times as Christians, as saved Christians, we are told that we need to be strong, we need to have faith, we need to trust in God, we need to give God inkinga zethu, we need to give it all to God. And that is very true. And I've been preaching the same thing for the past 2 weeks, like giving God your problems. But some things are really hard. Some things are really hard to go through. Some things, also, when you sleep at night, you sit down and you think about them and you realize, I go through it, you guys. Like, you are within them, and it's very hard to just turn around and just tell God, because you see yourself as dirty, and you see with agony that I could just say, this is what is going on, especially if you don't have that open relationship with God as yet, and you're just trying to to cement your faith. And as a Christian, we're told, you have to be on your knees, you have to pray. But sometimes sometimes the only thing that you can do is cry about it. And that is okay. And people make it seem hard to question God. But is it okay to question God? That's my first point. And to be quite honest, yeah, it is okay to question God. Because he is the God, he knows, he knew us before we were in our mom's womb. So he definitely knew that you were going to sin when the into that you weren't supposed to do. He knew that you were going to go through something, and you were going to get heartbroken or disappointed or have fear about something. So it's okay to question him. If you're questioning God, you're questioning the right person. God is not too big to not answer your question. So it's okay to question God. That's the very essence of being with God. It's okay to question who he is, to question what exactly you're going through, to question who he is, to question what he is like, to question the thing you're going through, to question the very elements of your healing, to question everything. It's okay to question him. And Then after you question him, then what? It gets hard, because sometimes when you do pray and question God, you don't get the answer immediately. And that what God is essentially, he's not a call center where you just call and you get your problem fixed immediately. Your problem might be too hard, and God might have a lesson to teach you by going through it. So what do you do when you, after you question God and after you tell him, man, I was disappointed by that person that has said they would never leave me, or that had said they would love me till we die. He just disappointed me and I don't know what to do. It's the reality of life. Disappointments is something that we go through every single day. But then it's okay to question God, to question who he is. And then what? You know, when you're cooking, this is an example. When you're cooking, you put all your ingredients in one pot. Let's say you are cooking in a 4-plate stove. You cook, and then while you're cooking, yabona, you finish making your curry. So you put your onions, you put your spices, you put everything, and then you're done with this. And then you put your meat in, and you waiting for it to simmer. So what you do, you put the other pot on. You take that pot, you put it in the back stove, and then you put the other pot in front, so that you're able to maybe make your rice and make your starch or whatever you're having with that curry. That's exactly what you need to do with your questions. You take them, you put them aside, you give them to God, because that's what you're doing essentially. You're taking what you're questioning and what you don't have answer of, and you put it aside, and then you take what you need to put immediately in front of you and you go with it. So I'm not necessarily saying you must go through whatever you're going through, but take something else. Change your thoughts, change what you're thinking about. Try by all means to change whatever you need to think about, and think about what you are going through exactly at that time. So let's say the problem was a disappointment in the friendship or relationship that you were going through, and you were disappointed, but you're also studying or you're working. So you have questions, you have disappointments. Take that part of disappointment and questions, put it in the back part or plate that you're cooking in, or you've heated up, and you give that to God to simmer and look at, and take the new part. Take your studies, take your academics, take whatever you're doing, and that is going good. Put it in front of you. But then you're asking me maybe, so what do I do, and do I forget that part? Because that's exactly what we tend to be told. We tend to be told to forget the other part. We're told that aibo is of water, but then you still need to take it, put it in front of you, stir it, put it back, because it is going to come back. You are going to go into bed one day and you are going to find yourself crying about that thing that disappointed you, or crying about that exact thing that made you sad, or that made you doubt yourself in life. You are going to take that part, put it in front of you, and you are going to stir it. So what am I essentially trying to say is that take it to God, but don't take your human being out of it. Because we tend to want to take the human being. We are human beings. We are people who, we panic in our nature. We doubt in our nature. It's exactly our nature and being. It's not something we could strip. We could strip ourselves off from easily, even if we are Christians and even if we are going through it. So what am I trying to say? Just take it, put it in the back part, and then try and focus on the good things. And I'm trying to erase the notion or the thought of saying that if you think about it again, that it's wrong. It's in our human nature to want to handle things and control things. But then we should essentially take it, stir it, and give it back to God again. Take it, stir it, and give it back to God again. That's exactly how you go through something. You take it, you cook it, it hurts you, you cry, you ask God, you take the pot, you put it in another plate, you cook something else. When you're ready, and when you find, and when you feel like you're okay with it, you take it again, you stir it, and then you put it in another plate again, until such a time that it's completely cooked, it's completely answered, and it's completely done. Then that's when you're completely done and you can focus on it fully. So now that the pot is cooked and the food is done and all your questions are answered and the lesson is learned, what do you do with the food now? What do you do with the questions and the answers? You meditate, you get your answers, you look at them, but like what you do with food, you eat it, you get the nutrients, and whatever you don't need goes to waste, obviously, as we know. So that's exactly what you do with your problems. You take them, you meditate, you take the good, you take the lessons, because the lessons are going to be part of your DNA and part of your genes and part of everything that you are and you believe in. And then after that, you do not look back. All the other stuff, all the hurt becomes waste. Dwelling on the hurt and dwelling on everything that went wrong becomes it becomes something that is a hindrance to you. But like you do with food, you think about the food that you have, and you think about the things that you go through in life, and you think about the hurts that you've experienced. But as you think about the hurts and as you think about everything that you go through, you sit down, you think about it for a minute, but then you don't look back. You don't want to go and dwell in all of it as you did, and as you did, and as you ate it and you took it and you took the lessons. You don't want to dwell. So you do look back, but you don't look back at the same time. So you do look back, you cry, you maybe meditate, you maybe go through it again, but then after a day and after an hour, you go there and you're like, this didn't serve me anyway. This wasn't my portion anyway. So let me not look back. Let me look at God and let me focus on the part that I'm cooking now. So I hope this was good for you guys. I hope it helped you guys and served its purpose. I hope it gave you some sort of a formula to how to go through your problems and how to deal with things. I'm not perfect. I still go through things that I've maybe been through and maybe went through, and they were havoc and they didn't serve me in any way. But we live and we learn. We live and we get lessons. So that was essentially what I was trying to say. Go through it. It's okay to go through it. It's okay, as a say child of God, to go through things, to get lessons from it. It's okay. So that's essentially what I was trying to say. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me how you deal with your things and how you go through things. And let's just start a conversation in the comment section. I love you guys so much. Please don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms. I've pinned them in my description box. And I hope you guys stay good and stay well. I love you guys so much. Bye.